Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Warhammer 40K Imperium Magazine issue 1. And here we see $6.95 up at the top left there, which means that this is the US version. I know that our friends across the pond in Europe have gotten Imperium Magazine last year. But this is the first issue available in the US, so I figured I'd go ahead and go through the contents of the magazine, what's included, and we'll be looking at the first several issues over the next few weeks. And as we see here, it's pretty thick inside. Sorry about the crinkling, I'm crinkling the plastic right in the mic. This includes a Space Marine Lieutenant, a Necron, a Royal Warden, I believe, a range ruler, of course the bases for each of the miniatures, some dice, and then back here there is a fold out playmat, and I believe there's a scenario inside this first issue to use these two miniatures on that playmat for capturing some objectives or something or other. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up and take a look. I'm also going to try to convince my wife to play that first scenario with me and see if we can get some Warhammer gameplay out of her, tricking her into just using one miniature at a time. And of course I'll let her choose between the Marine or the Necron, whichever one she prefers. So let's get this cracked open and take a look at the contents further. I'm going to open it over here so I don't keep crinkling this plastic right into the mic. Let's just go ahead and slide everything out. Alright, first thing to look at is the sprues here for each of the miniatures. And here we have our Indomitus Lieutenant and Indomitus Necron Royal Warden. I haven't actually built or painted either of these. I missed out on Indomitus. I hadn't rejoined the hobby by the time that was released, and I never went ahead and picked up any of them outside of a few of the character miniatures out of it for the Marines, so I have no Necrons, and I do believe I actually have a copy of this Space Marine here, but I'm going to be using these fresh for Imperium Magazine. So very nice sculpts, very nice to have an HQ for each army included. Get those built up, primed up, and sprayed to start painting and using. We have each of their bases here as well with the slots so that they can slot in easily. Base these up nicely. Here we have our measuring ruler, measuring stick, just 1 inch by 1 inch, and every other inch is shaded so it's easy to see, and it's just a 12-inch ruler. Pretty useful so you're not carrying around a measuring stick everywhere, but this is just 12 inches and there are certain things in the game that you might need more than that for. So going in, we have our title page or cover page here for the magazine, which is just happens to be a whole separate page. I don't know if it's supposed to come off. Oh no, it looks like mine may have came apart a little bit. These seem to might be pages for it. I'm not sure if mine is just unfortunately falling apart. Doesn't seem to be bound. Nope. Oh, that's great. So yeah, there's mine falling apart. So I'm assuming this actually just all goes together. And here we have how to build your Primaris Lieutenant and Royal Warden, painting your first miniatures. So these magazines are really geared towards really drawing people into the hobby and being very new with them, but it does come with a great deal for a lot of miniatures and certain things. And as I said, if I can convince my wife to play some simple Warhammer with it, that's a win for me. And well, there's a free poster as well. This looks to be the little game mat, and just so happens to be very tiny actually. small game mat with objective markers, and then you can cut out some of these objective markers and I'm not sure exactly what this is. If this is supposed to be cut out die or something or other, but that's included there. Paper craft, some kind of little markers, I believe. But there's the mat, and then free poster inside. Kind of unfortunate that that one issue is falling apart. And then this poster, if we pull it apart, it is just the Marine Royal Warden and the Lieutenant. It's essentially the cover of the magazine here, this image, just a bit larger with some more forces in the background on either side, and it's actually mirrored. So here we see the Marine on the left and the Necron on the right, and on the poster they're mirrored. So that's a welcome addition. I don't know if my wife will let me put it up anyway, find somewhere in the office to put it up where she maybe doesn't have to see it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut to getting these guys snipped out, cleaned up, and put together, and we'll take a look at them on their bases, how they're supposed to look in just a moment. And I'll try to keep my magazine in one piece as it's falling apart. Here we can see actually inside the scenario to play and a simple setup of what to do and how to start a game between these two miniatures. So playthrough example for either Necrons turn 1, rules and setup, all of that, war gear, tools of war. Oh, these are wound markers, those cutouts that I wasn't sure what they were. So that's what that is. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get them snapped up, show them off in a moment, and then let's see if later down in the week I can convince my wife to play that with me. Hopefully, fingers crossed, she'll say yes. So we'll be back in a moment with these guys all built up, show them off. I know they're Indomitus miniatures, a lot of us may have seen them, but I thought it would be worth taking a look at all of Imperium Magazine as it's released here in the US. Alright, we're back with everything assembled. This is everything that you're getting in your first issue of Warhammer 40K Imperium Magazine. We've got our magazine itself here front and center. We've got the extra poster. We've got the battle map for the scenario in the first issue, including papercraft objective markers, and those are actually wound counters up here. And then we've got our clear 12-inch ruler for that first scenario, which you can use in other games, but it'll be a little short for certain things that need measurements outside of 12 inches, like guns and that have longer range or whatever the case may be. And then we have our miniatures here. We have our Necron Royal Warden and our Primaris Lieutenant, and then six-sided die to get started with that first scenario. Now let's go ahead and get the light on the miniatures so you can see those better, because it does cause some glare with the magazine on the back. And we'll get in a little closer to them here. There we are, and that's a better view of the Primaris Lieutenant and the Necron Royal Warden. Now these are the easy to build versions of these, so these aren't actually glued together at all, which will make it easier to spray prime both of them, especially the Necron with the fiddly bits hanging off the back here, and his cables going from his back to his weapon, things like that. Once I do get them primed up, I'll probably just go ahead and use some plastic glue to really bond them together, make sure that certain gaps that do show up in this kind of cloak thing on the Necron and on the cable on the Necron's weapon, so that they bond better and stay in place. The Marine goes together very well. There is a bit of a seam line or a gap line on either side of him, but the arms and weapons go ahead and obscure that pretty well. Outside of that, they're great miniatures. The sculpts are great. If you're familiar with the Indomitus box, these all come with in the Indomitus box, as I said earlier. I didn't pick up the Indomitus box myself. I did pick up a few Marine characters out of it, so this may be my second Indomitus Primaris Lieutenant, but I can go ahead and paint them in different schemes or convert them just to make them a little bit different, make one a Blade Guard veteran or something like that. But there you have it. That's going to be the contents of Warhammer 40k Imperium Magazine issue 1. I'm going to go ahead and try to get my wife to play a scenario with that small battle mat and 2 miniatures. Maybe that'll be the trick. Just get her hooked and say, hey, you know what, it's just one little miniature each. It's just a few dice we roll, quick 10-15 minute scenario, and then maybe that would be the gateway to convincing her to play larger games and larger skirmishes. Wish me luck on that, guys. Other than that, that's all we have for today. In the next coming weeks, I'm going to be, of course, showing off issues 2 and 3, and then the following month, the following issues, I'll probably go ahead and just do an unboxing of each of them as they come in, so you guys can look forward to that in addition to the other content on my channel. Remember, I've got some Switch reviews coming up, some keyboard videos and gunpla videos in the works, so those will be coming down the pipeline as well. Thanks for watching. See you next time.